All right, let's dive in. Do you ever feel like you're playing the career game with a rulebook that's completely out of date? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to decode the new playbook for career success. Because let's be real, the old rules just don't work anymore.
Does this look painfully familiar? You've spent hours, days, weeks sending out hundreds of applications, maybe 300, 400, even 500, launching them into what feels like a black hole. And all you get back is silence. It's incredibly frustrating, and it's a massive sign that the old spray and pray strategy is totally broken. The problem isn't you, it's the game itself. You know that whole experience of just applying and applying with no response? That's not just bad luck. It's proof that the ground has shifted under our feet. Here's the bottom line. All that advice we got growing up, get a good degree, find a stable company, climb the ladder, that playbook is officially obsolete. So let's start by digging into exactly why it's time for a brand new approach. Okay, this slide really just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you have the promise, and on the right, you have the reality. We were told to get a stable job, but now we live in a world of constant change and, yep, layoffs. We were taught more degrees equals more money, but now it's all about the skills you have and the impact you can actually make. The whole idea of finding one single dream job, that's being replaced by the power to design your own career. And that straight, predictable ladder, forget about it. It's all about the pivot now. So, now that we're on the same page, the old rules are toast, let's tackle the first huge myth that keeps so many people completely stuck. It's this belief that to make any kind of real career change, you have to just burn it all down, go back to school for a new degree, and start all over again from square one. But here's the secret. You almost never need a new degree. What you actually need is a new language. See, the biggest mistake people make is thinking they have to erase their past experience. You absolutely don't. You just have to learn how to translate all the amazing skills you already have into the language of the job or industry you want to get into. And check this out. This is a perfect example. Take a social worker. Their skill in client intake is exactly what the tech world calls discovery and user research. Crisis management, that's just a fancy term for stakeholder management. Advocating for clients, that is 100% influencing without authority. Once you start framing your experience like this, you realize, whoa, I'm not starting over at all. You're just taking your expertise and applying it to a brand new field. Okay, so myth number 1 is busted. You don't need to start from scratch. So what's the next move? Well, it starts with busting the second really big myth. And that's the idea that your perfect dream job is just out there somewhere, hiding on a massive job board, and if you just scroll long enough, you'll eventually find it. This is a huge mindset shift. It's about moving from being a passive hunter to an active builder. Instead of just searching for some mythical dream job, the new goal is to design an aligned career. That means you intentionally build it around your unique strengths, your values, and your non-negotiables. It's about creating the role that fits you, not cramming yourself into a role that already exists. So, how do you actually do that? You reverse engineer it. It's a 4-step process. First, you have to define your zone of genius. What are you not only great at, but what do you actually love doing? Step 2, list your non-negotiables, things like remote work, or maybe an industry you absolutely want to be in. Then, the real work begins. You find 10 people who are already doing what you want to do. And here's the key. You don't just look at their current title. You study their entire career path. Look for the patterns, the skills they picked up along the way, how they made their moves. And this quote just nails it. You're not trying to be a copycat of one person's career. That path could have been pure luck for all you know. No, by studying 10 different paths, you're doing research. You're becoming a detective. You start to see how the game is actually played. You spot the patterns, and you realize there are tons of different ways to get to where you want to go. You're learning the rules so you can play smarter. But even after you've done all this homework, there's often one final massive roadblock. And that brings us to the biggest, most personal myth we have to bust. That nagging little voice in your head that says you're a fraud, that you don't really belong, and that any second now you're going to be found out. The typical advice is just be more confident. But that's like telling someone to just stop being sad. It doesn't work. The real antidote, the actual cure for imposter syndrome, is a powerful idea called specific knowledge. This is the fortress you build that makes you basically immune to feeling like an imposter. So what in the world is specific knowledge? Well, it's something you can't be taught in a class or get a certificate for. It's found in that unique sweet spot where your actual lived experiences overlap with your genuine, deep curiosity. It's the stuff you find yourself Googling late at night, the YouTube rabbit holes you go down for fun.
It feels like play to you, but to anyone else looking, it looks like expertise. Just think about it for a second. What's that for you?
This is such a powerful way to think about it. When you're trying to copy someone else, you're not being authentic. So the person you're trying to be, they're not there. But here's the most important part. You're not there either. You've hidden away your greatest asset, your own specific knowledge, behind some mask. The room is totally empty.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. We've busted the myths, we've torn up the old rulebook. So what's the new playbook look like? It's actually pretty simple. Instead of trying to win a game with broken rules, it's time to create and play your own game.
Here are the 3 fundamental rules of your new career playbook. Number 1, translate, don't start over. Reframe all that great experience you have for the future you want. Number 2, reverse engineer, don't just hunt for jobs. Design your path by becoming a student of others who've gone before you. And number 3, the most important one, own your specific knowledge. Lean all the way into that unique cocktail of experience and curiosity that only you have.
And this is really the idea that changes everything. When you operate from your specific knowledge, when you build a career around it, you're not playing someone else's game anymore. You've invented your own. And think about it, you can't be an imposter in a game that you've invented. So the only question left to ask is, what's your game going to be?